Hello, Lauren here from Rah Rah Consulting, and I am the founder of the Rah Rah Spirit Team membership. Woohoo! Welcome to the show. Hope you are doing very, very, very awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I know that it's special and important. Our time is one of the most important, if not the most important thing that we have. It means a lot to me that you've decided to spend it with me. So big shout out to Instagram, YouTube, and to Facebook. So on the show today, I actually am going to be talking about the subject of focusing and taking action. That was a theme that's come up this week. And so I decided, you know what? Let's talk all about that subject. But before we do, just wanted to let you know that today's show is brought to you by the Rah Rah Spirit Team membership. Building a business can be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. I teach small and medium-sized businesses strategies for building a profitable and successful stress-free business and life, because you are more than your business. Through one-on-one training, online courses, and monthly guest experts, we actually have them doing 2 power hours a month with experts that we bring into the membership. You know, the Spirit Team is built on the principle of building each other up in business and in spirit. So you can actually try it for 14 days for free. All you need to do is head to rahrahconsulting.com. All the details are there, and it's $2,800 worth of value that you can get for only $50 a month. And if you sign up with the intro offer, you also get access to the mastermind, which is, you know, building a community of like-minded business people where you set goals and help each other, and you know, basically thrive together. So I really hope that if you are looking to start a business, if you already have a business, that you know you want to try something new, you want someone like me on your team holding you accountable, answering your questions, things like that, that you really will give the Spirit Team a try. Okay, aside from that though, let's get into the show, shall we? So today, basically, I want to talk about, you know, focusing and taking action, because one of the challenges that I have been told that people are having is, you know, with lack of focus, or just like not knowing where to focus, or not knowing, you know, how to take action. And I think that that comes down to a lot of basically finding your motivation. So today I'm going to talk about, you know, some key points that I really want you to think about. I'm also going to be asking you some questions to think about kind of after the call or after the show here. So if you have a pen and a paper handy, I would really recommend that you get that now. Obviously you can come back and listen, but you know, in the spirit of time management and being efficient, maybe grab it now. And if there's anything of value, you know, you can jot it down. And obviously, as always, if something feels right to you, consider it, maybe take it on, try it out. And if it doesn't feel right, it's all right for you to leave that. So I'll give you a second to grab your pen and paper, because this episode's gonna go fast with lots of stuff. I'm gonna have a quick drink of water and then we'll get rocking. When I say a quick drink, I mean like a gulp. Apparently I'm very thirsty. Okay, here we go. So basically, I want to talk today about focusing and taking action. So I believe that if you are having a challenge with focus and taking action, it's probably because you've forgotten why you are in this business in the first place. So I really want to strongly recommend that if this feels like something that you're struggling with, that you come back to your why. Questions to consider when you're working out your why can be, you know, what's your motivation for doing what you're doing, right? So if I'm having, you know, let's say I'm feeling exhausted and you know, I've taken on a lot of things and I'm wondering why, you know, I come back to my motivation. That's to help business people succeed. That's to help, you know, people have less stress in their life. That's to help give them a different perspective on maybe, you know, what they're currently doing, or encourage them to think about things in a different way. That's my motivation. I want to be of service. So when you're thinking about your motivation, you know, what is it that got you started in your business in the first place? What is it? So think about that. What's your motivation? Another question I'd like you to think about is what excites you about your business? These are all things that can really help you to focus in on your why. So what excites you about your business? Why is it that, you wake up every day, or if you're not right now, if you're lacking that motivation, you're lacking the taking action, you're not focusing, what originally kicked things off and got you pumped up? Okay, so that's another question. Who do you want to be? So this is a big one. Who do you want to be? And basically think about what are the steps that you need to take to get you there. So again, reconnecting with this part of you, reconnecting with your why and your focus will come from that, because you will be right back to where, you kind of started, right? So thinking about your why, that'll help motivate you to continue going on. What's your heart telling you to do? That's a big one. And I'm going to talk a little bit later about how maybe the thing you're doing isn't the right fit for you anymore. But we'll talk about that in a minute, because that's a bit of a bigger subject, isn't it? So what's your heart telling you to do? Does that kind of help you, get reconnected or get connected even in the first instance with your why? Right? So again, if you're having a difficult time with focusing and taking action, come back to your why. The core of your why really will drive you, and it will fuel you when things get tough. And I would recommend that if you're writing these things down and you're writing down your why and you haven't done it in a while, you might find you've changed a little bit, right? Because as we evolve, we change. Our interests change, our priorities change, our desires change. So when you can go back to where you are currently and what's motivating you now, that's really important. And having that written down will help you when, you're struggling for focus or taking action, to come back and to go, oh yeah, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I want you to ask yourself, what's stopping you from executing? This is a really big thing, right? There are things that are getting in your way of executing. What are they? And so here are some key questions that I really want you to strongly think about. First of all, where are you trying to go? Do you know where you are trying to go? That is so key, because if you don't know where you're trying to go, then how are you going to get there, right? If I don't know the direction of where my business is headed, how am I supposed to steer the ship or make decisions that align me with where I want to go? Or, spend my time doing things that are going to advance me as opposed to take me away from that. So maybe that's something that's really stopping you from executing, is that you don't know where you want to go. So that's something that, I really would recommend that you get clear on. The other thing is, are you able to identify your next steps? Because if you're not able to identify your next steps, then no wonder you don't know how to take action or you're lacking focus. It's because you don't know where you're going and you don't know how to get there. So, one thing that I want you to think about is, are you qualified to get you to the next point, right? So for example, maybe you feel that you need to build a website. Maybe you aren't qualified to build a website. Potentially, there are lots of services out there that you can hire people to do these things for you, right? That's the thing. You need to figure out, are you qualified, and do you have the skill set to help advance you? Because there are so many people out there in the world who specialize in other things. Like, for example, with the spirit team, right? I bring in guest experts 2 times a month for an hour each session to teach on other things that I'm not an expert in, because I think it's important that you have a different perspective on how something can go. And it's not always up to one person to know everything, as much as to be able to foster a safe conversation around alternatives, right? So, figure out, are you qualified to take the next steps? And if you're not qualified to take the next steps, and I really want you to think about who can help you advance, right? So if it's the website, well, can you go to something like Upwork, or can you go find online from friends. Often people, if they're referred, they've done a good job. Are there people that can do a website for you, for example, right? So get clear on that. The other thing is getting real with yourself now. So getting real with yourself in terms of, are you trying to do too many things? That might be an important thing to consider. If you're trying to do too many things, and you kind of can sometimes shoot yourself in the foot by not doing anything. So one thing that I would really recommend that you do is you look through your priority list, make sure that all the things that you have to do or need to do for your business are prioritized according to when they should be done and not the job that you prefer to do. Because let me tell you, and I have been guilty of this myself, so totally no judgment here. But when you have a list of priorities and you prioritize the things that you want to do over the things that are going to advance you in your life or in your business, that's when difficulties arise, right? Because you're never actually getting fully on top of your workload, or you're not moving the ship forward. Okay, so think about that. Do you have too many things that you need to do? Do you have competing priorities? So if you have a whole bunch of things that you need to do right now, you can't do that. You need to do one thing at a time, right? So choose that one thing, execute it, and then move on to the next thing. If you have too many things that you feel like you need to do for your business, right? Delegating is also an option. Delegating or automating or moving something off your list for next time. These are all things that can assist you. And believe me, if you don't have 50 things that you feel you need to do right now today, I think that will help you to take action and to focus, laser focus on where you want to go and grow your business. Another thing, are your deadlines realistic? So sometimes we go, oh man, I need to do 5,000 things today. Do they need to be done today? Honestly, can some of them be done next week? Can some of them be done next month? Or tomorrow, if not today, right? So get clear if you've got too many things to do they all need to happen today? And that's really important that you know that and that you can prioritize accordingly. Okay, this is the big one. So I'm going to, talk a little bit more now about getting real with yourself. So I believe that if you are not taking action and you're not focusing, that you might not want to do the thing anymore. And I know that's difficult. Let me use this as an example, okay? I love the piano. I love it. I love the piano. I love playing the piano. I used to write music and sing. I love the piano. I have a piano and I haven't played it in a long time. Like, properly played it in probably over 1.5 years, and it's sitting in my living room and I love the piano. Okay. So my issue with the piano is that I'm at a grade level where I can advance, and so I can't read music, and so playing by ear limits me in a way, right? And I guess I just haven't felt motivated to play. And so even though I love the thing, I'm not taking action to play. So what does that mean? That means that I'm prioritizing my time elsewhere. Rah Rah Spirit Team membership and my podcast and my business, those are driving me. They're so exciting. I wake up every day and I am just so thankful that I get to run my business. I am pumped. I don't have any issue with taking action or focus because I love it so intently. So maybe get real with yourself. Are you having challenges with taking action and focus because you don't want to do the thing? If it's none of the other things that I'm talking about today, that could be something. So get real with yourself and ask yourself the question. And I will tell you that it's okay to change your mind. People change in life. That's what happens. We all change. We make new friends. We learn new perspectives. We aren't the same people that we were pretty much even last year, right? I'm sure you've changed. So it's possible that your business is no longer serving you, which means that as soon as you can come to terms with that, you can open up the door to a new opportunity that's going to light you up and set you on fire. One thing I talk about sometimes is, well, not sometimes, but one thing I want you to think about is no matter how far you have gone the wrong way, no matter how far you've gone the wrong way, turn around and go back. It's better than continuing and, spending your time and trying to motivate yourself to do something you don't want to do. And that's totally cool. All right. I've got a few more things, but I do have a comment here. Oh, T. Hey, T. Thanks for tuning in, girl. That's awesome. Love that. So for those of you on Facebook and also on YouTube, sorry, Instagram, you're on my iPad, you don't get access to this. I'm using a program called StreamYard, and it's very cool. You'll see that there's like a border around me. I can add my logo in there. I can add those, cool little headings that you're getting. Sorry, Instagram, you'll have to go to Facebook or YouTube to check this out. But I did want to make a point of mentioning that I'm using a tool called StreamYard. I'm not affiliated with them. I'm just telling you because it's very cool and exciting, and I just got access to it. Okay. So what's holding you back? Sometimes I think that we don't take action or we lack focus because of fear. And sometimes fear can be baggage and programs. Now, I'm not going to get too woo-woo here, but it's something I want you to think about. Sometimes fear can get in the way of our progress when actually we're carrying this baggage and these self-limiting beliefs of things that aren't really true anymore. And it's okay for us to bust down those thought patterns and recreate new ideas. So what's holding you back? If you're not taking action, if you're not focusing, if you've got challenges with moving yourself forward, what is holding you back? And if it's fear, I want you to get really clear on what part of it is scary and then come up with a plan to get rid of that fear. I was watching The Sopranos the other day, and the guy told a joke. I don't know if it's a joke or like a mini story or something. Anyway, this is how it went. Fear knocked at the door. Faith answered. No one was there. So I love that. Fear gets in the way of stopping us from being who we are truly meant to be. And it's not okay, because when you have one beautiful life, at least in this form, you have one life. Why would you just do anything by half? Why would you settle for anything less than what you fully are meant to do, right? If you have a gift and you feel like you want to serve, if you're connecting with your why, like we were talking about earlier, don't let fear of something that could possibly, potentially, maybe happen, probably never happen, get in the way of you doing your thing. So self-limiting beliefs, I did a whole episode Facebook Live on self-limiting beliefs already. You'll have to go back and check it out. And the imposter syndrome, I did another live on that. So if you want to explore those subjects further, I've already talked about it. So just head back on Facebook or Instagram and you can watch those previous lives. But basically, I do want to plant the seed of self-limiting beliefs. And the self-limiting beliefs come into fear of success. That could be something that you're running, like somebody else could probably do this better than me, or I'm not worthy of being successful. Well, let me tell you something. You are worthy of being successful. You are worthy of being successful. You are. Okay? So get clear if you have a self-limiting belief about fear of success. There are lots of people out there that help with this sort of thing. I can help you with this sort of thing, right? That's what, part of the work that we do in the spirit team is this kind of stuff. Another self-limiting belief, fear of failure, fear of failing, right? It's like, oh, what will happen if it doesn't work? Yeah, but what will happen if it does work? Right? What will happen if it works? probably the best, amazing, most incredible life ever. And even if it doesn't work, chances are you're going to learn something from that experience, right? So that's the other thing. That's kind of like looking at the flip side of the coin on that. Sometimes other self-limiting beliefs can show up, and they can be fear we're not good enough to achieve what we want. That is another self-limiting belief, or thinking that, I don't have the experience or qualifications to succeed, right? That you're not good enough to achieve. Well, let me tell you this, and I've said this many times before, you need to try and you learn by doing. The first time I did a Facebook Live, I did it in the wrong group. Big freaking deal. I shared the video onto Rah Rah and I moved along with my life, right? So I learned by doing. I learned to double, triple check where I'm doing my my posting. Okay? So that's the other thing is, maybe you're not, maybe you don't think that you're perfect, or no one's perfect. Perfect is BS. Okay. Maybe you don't think you're good enough, but you still need to show up, because as you show up, you will learn and you will cultivate and you will learn new ways of doing things. And I know there will come a time, right, where I look back on these videos in the future and I think, damn girl, should have bought yourself a ring light instead of dealing with the light above your head. That would have been smart. But you know what? I don't have a ring light right now. And so I'm doing this without a ring light, because if I don't give myself the chance to show up for you, then you're never going to hear this stuff, right? So why would I let something like that get in my way? Another self-limiting belief is fear of not being loved or being unlovable. So a lot of this comes down to us wanting to be approved, like get approval from other people. So that's another self-limiting belief. That's a pretty big one. Well, I mean, they're all big ones, but they're all dealable. You can work this all out. That's the thing. These are just small little fear-based things that once you get clear you have this issue, you can come up with ways of, replacing your thoughts. You can come up with ways of deciding, you know what? I don't need to believe everything I think. This doesn't agree with me anymore. Nah, I'm not going to let anything get in the way of me taking action and focusing upon what I want to do. Fear of rejection is another self-limiting belief, right? You can't please everyone. That's just life. You can't please everyone. And guess what? Somebody watching this video, they might connect with me and they might go, damn girl, I like what you're saying. And other people might watch this and go, don't understand, don't like it, not my vibe. That's totally cool. There is something for everyone. And when you have an abundance mindset and you remember that, there's always more where that came from. So rejection is okay, especially if you learn not to take it personally. It's not about you, it's about them, right? It's what maybe you weren't the right fit for what they need or what they're looking for. Or maybe when I'm talking about things like mindset, that's a bit too woo-woo for someone and they don't want to deal with someone like that. That's totally fine and that's perfect. I don't feel rejected by that, right? So self-limiting beliefs, get really clear on whether or not you have fear that's holding you back and stopping you from taking action. So I want to end this, and then I'm happy to take any questions if you have any, just leave a comment. But, pretty much I've covered a lot of it today, and hopefully you've got some value from it. Sometimes our thoughts stop us from doing anything, right? And maybe our self-beliefs play a part of that we're afraid that we won't do the right thing, or we're afraid that people won't like us, or we're afraid that we're not good enough, or whatever. Or, the time management thing, like you just don't know what to do next, okay? There are a whole bunch of things that go, that get in the way of us not taking action and not focusing. But one thing I really want to strongly recommend to you or encourage you to do is just take action, because something is better than nothing. So if you just decide, you know what, I just going to do one small little thing. I'm going to read a book. I'm going to do a podcast. I'm going to organize my priority list. I'm going to do whatever it is I need to do, but I'm just going to do one small thing. I'm not going to set myself, maybe a task of doing the whole big picture right now. I'll just do one thing that I'm comfortable with. Something is better than nothing. I can't tell you how many times I get up to go for a run, and this little voice inside my mind is like, I don't want to go. It's only 6 a.m. I don't want to go. I want to sit here and chill and have my coffee and, scroll through my phone. It's like, no, No, I'm going. I'm going because I know my why I'm going, and I'm going because I know I feel better. And it's my time to myself to go and do that and exercise and be connected to my body. So I'm going. So what I do is I just get my clothes on and I let my mind talk itself around and try to talk me out of it. And every so often I go, nah, I'm still going, right? Even though it's like, I don't want to go. I want to sit and have my coffee. I go anyway. So just act before you think. And if you notice that you're thinking, just act anyway. You have, this courage inside you. You have the wherewithal. And if you ever get stuck, and you're not taking action and you're not focusing, coming back to your why really should be a lot to motivate you to remind yourself why you're in it. I know some people feel, down because they don't have enough time in their day. And so they feel, oh, I'm not going to take any action at all because I only have a window of 15 minutes. Well, a window of laser focus 15 minutes, not a window of scrolling through your phone and checking your browser and checking your email 15 minutes. Actual laser focus can move your business ahead and, further ahead than an hour of not laser focused time. So just remember that too. You don't need to do huge bouts of time as long as you're laser focused. You need to do what you can do for you, and that's going to be good enough. Okay. So I hope that helped. I sympathize when when this happens, and it happens to all of us where we feel stuck sometimes. So having, a bit of a success plan, having something in mind where you go, yeah, I remember that, when I feel stuck, come back to my why, my purpose, right? My motivation, my desire to serve, or my desire to have a better quality life for my family or myself, right? So these are all things that, they're strategies that you can use to come back to. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I don't really know if I have any, but I'll just hang here for a couple more minutes. I love spending this time with you. It means a lot to me. And I think that, as I do this sort of work, I get to know a little bit more about, what you need and how to serve you better. And that comes back to, our whole philosophy, right? On learning as you go and, showing up like the person you want to be and acting like them already, acting as if, and just doing what is right, that fills your heart and your soul and just sets you on fire. That's the whole thing. Yeah. Okay. So I don't think I have any questions. I hope that was valuable to you. If you haven't already, I've got the Rah Rah podcast. It's you can get it where you get your podcasts. Interview a whole bunch of different guests, all with interesting stories, different perspectives on the world, lots of business tips and tricks. This week I talked to a performer artist, and she was actually in the woods while she was talking to me. So there's a raven that flies by in the middle of the episode, and she just shares a lot about, the return on investment and the importance of that. So that's Claire Ness. I got to speak with her. Also today I recorded a really interesting episode with Noni Leonard, and we talked about vision boards, and a big theme of that was actually about connecting to your why. So that episode will be hitting the airwaves, the podcast airwaves, sometime in August. So keep a lookout for that. And there's a new episode every single Monday on the Rah Rah podcast. So thank you so much for joining me today. I know your time's valuable, like I've said. I appreciate it. And yes, I wish you all the best. And if you like what I'm talking about today, and you think, what, you're ready for someone to hold you accountable and cheer you on while you build the business and life of your dreams, then maybe you'll give me a chance and the Rah Rah Spirit team. All right, talk to you soon. Much love. Goodbye.